I know what you're thinking. No, these grapes do not have coronavirus. That is not the reason for this. I don't know what they are, but if you can ever find them, they're amazing. Crazy times, right? Crazy. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought a week ago? I remember the days, but like even talking to you guys not that long ago about, oh, this race is cancelled, that race is cancelled, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of the plan, etc. But whoa! And guys, yeah, I've said this in the sort of comments before, I don't want to make this vlog too much about it, just because there's so much on the news. Every time you turn anything on, it's all there in front of you, but it's hard not to. I mean, it's scary. I'm scared. I made a comment in one of the first videos we started doing during this, where I kind of thought, you know, the whole working from home thing would be maybe a positive that kind of comes out of it. But that's assuming we get through this. Like, I still firmly believe, like, this could be a super opportunity for social change, for a more caring, a more inclusive society. I just do want to mention cycling though real quick. I mean, it's no secret that pro cycling, just like the model around pro cycling, is a complete basket case. You look at how it compares to how other sports get revenue and revenue sharing and all that kind of stuff, and pro cycling. The main reason for this is that ASO own the sport, because they have the one event that completely dominates it. And I always thought the only way things could possibly change would be a full team boycott of the Tour de France. But that was never really going to happen, because the way teams sponsor themselves is essentially all based around their performance at the Tour de France. Like, you look at Green Edge or Mitchell and Scott, like, I think the statistic was like their sponsors were 95% involved and interested in the Tour. That's where they would get the bang for their buck. There will be no Tour de France this year. So I wonder if either the teams get together, the governing bodies get together, somebody gets together to try and take ownership over the calendar. The people in the sport don't actually own anything in the sport. The joke is, like, if you're a team and you're a pro team and you fold, the only thing you own is the bus. So there's no actual ownership of the calendar itself. Come on, guys, do something. I'm going to try and keep it positive. And yeah, look, so really interesting, right? Possibly could be positive on more than one note. I was contacted, hey El, I was contacted about 3 or 4 months ago by a Chinese action cam company, and they were going to send me out a camera. Completely forgot about it. 3 months later, and interestingly enough, just after they're saying that things have maybe got a little bit better at their end of the world, we have received the camera. Alrighty guys, let's open this camera up and see what it is all about. Okay, what am I talking about? The Vantop Moment 5C Action Cam. And look, it's got all the specs you've seen before. 4K 60 frames a second, 6-axis image stabilization, touchscreen, all those kind of things, except one spec you haven't seen before. That's right, $60. This thing costs $60. I reviewed a $600 action cam not that long ago. And look, I'd never heard of this brand ever in my life, but this device itself sits in between the Moment 6 and the Moment 4 at 60 bucks. What do you get for 60 bucks? Well, a bucket of stuff. And there's too much stuff in here to talk about. There's accessories. Yeah, you can see what I mean. An absolute bucket of things. Did I mention this thing costs $60? So look, I don't know how to review a $60 action cam when you're talking about something that's 10% the price of something before, but the form factor is nice, it's neat, it's plasticky, but it's neat. It comes with an app that obviously you can therefore control the device with, and a case, a waterproof casing. Switching it on, let's have a quick look at it. And yeah, it's an action cam. It's an action cam shooting action cammy type footage. Smile, Chris. Alright, let's take this outside and have a quick play with it. And starting off, we're just going to use a bit of 60 frames a second 4K, slowed down to 50%, just going through some leaves and things, having a look at some details, and trying to get an idea of the colours. And look, it's sharp and it's saturated, but it's also grainy. Just doing a vlog test, guys. Just walking along, hand holding the device. Image stabilisation on, and I have what they're calling a wind reduction system on as well, because it's just a little bit of wind up here, and I'm going to try it on that. The reason I'm testing 1080p 30 frames a second is because this is the frame rate we will use on the bike. Longer battery life. It's normally what I do with the GoPro, what I do with the DJI, so it's only fair we do it on this. But what about on the bike? Well, this is a setup you've seen a million times, right? The waterproof casing underneath the Garmin holder, all good. But what about if we try something different? Here's 30 grams lighter and a form factor that is very, very neat. Now, you are losing a bit of waterproofness, but for 60 bucks, let's give this a go. Right, so it's just before 5 o'clock in the evening, a little bit of low light. It's going to be interesting, okay? Okay, rolling out the front door, guys, and look, it is a slightly sort of twilight setup, so it's not full light, which is where an action cam does kind of struggle. Let's have a look going through the roundabout, and what's interesting here is this is a shot I shot a couple of days ago on the GoPro. Very, very different day, as you can see, but I'm quite interested to see what that sharpness is like compared to the moment. Now, let's put them next to each other. And this is where I'm really interested in your thoughts, guys, because a lot of people view my videos on phones. So if we're scaling it down to that sort of level, does that image quality really matter to you? Let me know down below. Now, coming down to the bottom of Mullen Street, I want you to look at the sky. Now, do we start to get any cloud, any definition in that sky? Because that's obviously where action cams struggle. Oh, we've got a little bit of cloud there. That's good. That's a real struggle for an action cam. Now, the colors in the park, I think that's pretty good. Coming from sort of light to dark, it's just sharpness there on the cyclist on the left, and you can just see me kind of getting out of the saddle a little bit so you can see the camera moving. All right, I just had to throw this bit in, right? This is continuing on my Anzac Bridge rant, but so this is a horrible stretch of road. So let's test the image stabilization coming down this. This is where you're now forced to ride. Let's truck down here, across some cement blocks, down a driveway, past a thing, up a driveway, onto this sort of section of gridded tarmac, and look, that wasn't bad. For that form factor, that was pretty good. Don't get me wrong, guys, I know this image quality is not amazing. There's no beating around the bush. I will say you can see some cloud definition there at the moment. That's a good sign, but it's very hard to really pop straight comparisons with the GoPro because you're looking at a device that's, well, 10% of the price. So what are your expectations?
Okay, so the thing that could set this apart for me is that form factor. Yeah, look, the image quality is probably going to be borderline trash. The sound will probably be worse. But the form factor, if we can get away with this as a possible solution, this not only does it just make it more feasible from a racing cyclist point of view, because all of a sudden, you know, there's less weight penalty, but you can start doing things like running multiple cameras. I mean, you could run a front and back. I could like go full vlog spec like that. And even for like a group of mates, you could easily have 2 or 3 of these, hand them out, go on your riding trip to Italy. I mean, Italy's allowed to be riding again, but you know what I mean? But 60 bucks.
How do you sum up a $60 action cam? Well, okay, the facts are the footage is usable. The battery life is okay. I got just under an hour at 1080p 30 frames a second, though I will say to get 2 batteries with the package means you could theoretically quite happily carry a second one and put it in there on a longer ride. No problem. Obviously, it comes with that in a race, but you know what I mean. The interface is usable. It is buggy, it's a bit slow, it reminds me a little bit of a Garmin one actually. And but look, you can get where you need to go, and everything's in the kind of places you'd expect it to be. The buttons work. For me, obviously, putting aside, well, you can't put aside the price, but just the form factor of that, okay, now there's no waterproofing on that obviously, but if you can get away with a form factor like that, you know, you put it up against there, and it's considerably lighter, you're going to see us use it, really, is what I'm trying to say. It's funny, I was talking about this with Luke not that long ago, and we were sort of saying that there are two product lines that really haven't been hit yet by mass production. One being bike computers. I mean, it's really dominated by a couple. You're starting to see a few more now. And the other one is these things. And it's a bit like anything. As soon as you start seeing those cheaper products coming in that, yeah, are going to be slightly inferior in quality initially, all of a sudden, the price is going to start dropping. You're going to see far more options. Just look at power meters now. Look at the Asioma power meter that we just did. Still blows my mind how good that is for that price. And hopefully we start seeing that in this space as well. Yeah, don't know what's coming up. There's going to be some changes around for us, so make sure you do subscribe and share this video on, because that's really helpful. Alrighty, we'll see you soon.
Catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my new home. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro.
$60. 60.